TG Geeks, episode 35, April 24th, 2015. How many days till vacation? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tid-bits.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, wishing right now he were somewhere in the Bahamas, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yes. Did that intro sound very rehearsed and written down?
Not
because
in the,
it is written
not
down.
in the. Yeah, actually, yes. Word for word. You know, but you know something? You're in good company because so many other podcasts do the same thing.
It's
so we've observed.
Polished.
So it's hey, you know, nothing wrong with polish.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we got a couple of good stories here, and some of these are already on our website. Now, people will remember a number of years ago, and when I mean a number, I'm not talking a long time ago, but a few years back, there was a very interesting speculative science fiction movie that came out that was put out by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Cruise, and it was called Minority Report, about how law enforcement might look like in the future. And for those people who remembered how the story ended, it ended with Tom Cruise's character liberating 3 youths that were precogs. That was their term. And the whole thing kind of just ended at that. They were going to be living sort of off the grid and on their own, not being slaves to the law enforcement system. Well, now Fox is doing a series. And the first promo for Fox's new series, Minority Report, yes, same name, it is shown where the series, it's picking up right where the movie left off. Now,
Fascinating.
They've told us that this is 10 years following the movie, and we see the police still using all sorts of advanced tech to fight crimes and also solve them. But now that they don't have a precog program. Now, it's going to be starring Megan Good. She plays Detective Lara Vega, and she's actually going to encounter a former precog named Dash, who's played by Stark Sands. And he has been, as with the others, he's been living off the grid as possible, but has now returned due to his now missing twin brother named Arthur, who will be played by Nick Zano. And this disappearance of his twin is causing Dash to experience some rather distressing precognitive visions.
I didn't think Dash had a brother. I thought he had a sister.
There were 3 of them, remember? Oh, are you trying to make a joke?
Oh, he does have a brother.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah. But now they're simply calling him Arthur because that makes for a better name than Jack. I
see.
No, Keith is talking about the wrong movie.
Oh, that's Incredibles.
The Incredibles.
But there's going to be Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Minority Report. Go right ahead.
Report.
Go right ahead.
Anyway, yeah, pay no attention to that man
behind the board.
Yeah, man behind the board. Fox, the network, is still keeping the character of Arthur in hiding, even though they've added Nick Zano to the cast. But what is interesting is that Stark Sands, who plays Dash, actually played both brothers in the movie. So they've got him to come back to reprise at least one of the roles. And there is a little featurette that does reveal a bit more of the show's approach to the science fiction, crime, and adventure. We have that on our website. So
check it out.
Go take a look. We'll
tggeeks.com.
tggeeks.com. It is very much worth taking a look at, but I will read you this little bit that Fox gave us. Minority Report follows the unlikely partnership between a man haunted by the future and a cop haunted by her past. Oh, that's interesting. As they race to stop the worst crimes of the year 2065 before they happen. This will be set in Washington, D.C. It is 10 years after the demise of Pre-Crime, a law enforcement agency tasked with identifying and eliminating criminals before their crimes were committed. To carry out this brand of justice, the agency used 3 precogs or precognitives, Dash, Arthur, and the girl, Agatha, who were able to see the future. Now, crime solving is different, and justice leans more on sophisticated and trusted technology than on the instincts of the precogs. Now, precog Dash, he's being driven by his terrifying but fragmented visions. He is now returned in secret to help a brash but shrewd police detective, Lara Vega. She, as I said, the actress is Megan Good. She's been in Think Like a Man as well as Californication. As they attempt to stop the murders that he is predicting. As they navigate this future America, they will search for Dash's missing twin brother, Arthur, and elude others who will stop at nothing to exploit their precog abilities. Also complicating matters is Dash and Arthur's ingenious but reclusive foster sister, Agatha. Ooh, that's interesting. Who just wants Dash to return home. A drama of crime and conspiracy. This is a timeless story of connection. 2 lost souls, Dash and Vega, who find friendship, purpose, and redemption in each other. I would recommend taking a look at the featurette because as I saw it, there was one thing that really got my attention. And what that is, the way they describe that world. We've seen way too many science fiction shows come up that really kind of exploit this whole dystopia kind of situation, a future that's very pessimistic. And the showrunners aren't going for that. They want to create a future that looks rather optimistic. And that got my attention because I'm really sick and tired of these just really bleak futures. I mean, as we said, we're gotten into Continuum now, but it turns out that the future in Continuum is not a very good one. It's a rather bad one.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to tell us that here we've got this future for Minority Report, and it's a positive one. So I'm very excited now. And as we've learned, I mean, even though the series may not have had much life to them, Fox does know how to make science fiction.
Yes, they do.
They proved that with Almost Human. They proved that way back with Alien Nation. So these people know how to do science fiction shows, so I'm very excited about Minority Report. Now, moving on to something else, and I'm also very excited about...
Moving on to Netflix.
Most specifically, Jessica Jones. Netflix did reveal through Reddit all of the episodes of the first season. And of course, as we all know, when Netflix releases a season, they drop all the episodes at one big shot. So they had to have all the titles out there. And what is interesting is that now the series, as we remember, it was supposed to be called AKA Jessica Jones, and then it just dropped the AKA. Well, that AKA has now been placed in front of every single title. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down all of them because there's 13 of them, and it probably wouldn't mean anything.
Check out the article.
Check out the article. This is on our website. I wouldn't say that there's anything that's really overly spoilerish, but there are some that would kind of make you scratch your head and say, Like episode 8 is AKA WWJD. Think about it. I have absolutely no idea where they're trying to go with that one, but that one has my attention. Now, also...
What would Jessica do?
Yeah, what would Jessica do? That's it, yes. Hey, you got it. I think that's right.
Huh.
I think you're right. I think that's exactly right. What would Jessica do? Duh. Now, moving over to the other Marvel Netflix property, Luke Cage. Luke Cage just added, oh, wow, could not be more happy. Alfre Woodward, who people might know from, she was in... Despicable Desperate Housewives. That's the name of that show.
Despicable Housewives.
Despicable Housewives. Notorious Housewives. It's one of those housewives. Despicable Housewives of New Jersey. I'm not sure. Desperate Housewives, as well as True Blood. Keith and I
well
better
as-
know her from a specific Star Trek movie,
Mhm.
First Contact, where she played, was it Millie?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Phenomenal actress. Could not be happier that she's been added to this really interesting TV show in the key role of Minetta, a powerful woman in local politics who will have an impact on Luke Cage's life. That could be either good or bad. Have no idea. The outlet, let's see, this was reported by Deadline. Now, the outlet notes that the character may in fact be the villain Black Mariah, a gang leader and prime antagonist for both Luke Cage and his buddy Iron Fist, though this has not been confirmed.
Wasn't that in Kill Bill? Black Mariah? No, Black Mamba.
That's Black Mamba. No. Chio Hodari Coker, who was in Notorious and also, I believe, headed NCIS Los Angeles, is going to serve as executive producer and showrunner for this anticipated series, Marvel's Luke Cage. Coker is writing the first 2 episodes of the series that will premiere in 2016. That's not too far away. Everywhere that Netflix is available. Marvel's Luke Cage will star Mike Coulter as the charismatic lead character Luke Cage in the series, though he will make his debut in the upcoming Marvel's Jessica Jones, which is set to premiere later this year. Oh, I love synergy.
Yes.
This is the kind of stuff that just really turns me on as a geek. I love this kind of stuff.
Hear that, CW?
Well, CW knows what they're doing. It's DC and Warner Brothers that doesn't have it quite figured out.
DC, yes.
CW, they've got their act quite together.
What was I thinking?
Well, you were thinking DC. You're sort of on the right angle there.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is the one that really kind of needs to get there.
It had a W in it.
Yeah, it had a W in it, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm very excited about that. One cute little anecdote about Alfre Woodward and why I think she's such an amazing actress. When she was filming First Contact, of course, Jonathan Frakes was the director for that movie. He said that one of his favorite moments was this really beautiful scene where her character is confronting Picard, who is now on his whale quest to destroy the Borg. And Jonathan Frakes said in a documentary that he did not have to give them any direction. He just said that all he had to do was turn the camera on them and sit back and watch, and saw 2 pros just go at it. And he said it was just such a thrill to see these 2 consummate actors just play what he thought was one of the greatest dramatic scenes in all of Star Trek movie history. I would have to agree with that.
It was a pretty incredible scene.
It was an amazing scene, and that's the quality of those 2 actors. So having Alfre Woodward in this, I think, just adds a whole heck of a lot of credibility.
Yeah, it gives me chills just thinking of that scene.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Because it's so incredible.
It is such an incredible scene, and it tells you what kind of an actress Alfre Woodward really is. Now, moving over to another Marvel property, or in this case, properties, ABC has reportedly ordered a pilot.
Are you teasing us?
I'm teasing, absolutely. But see, that's because we've been teased in the past about this so-called Mockingbird spin-off that it's on again, it's off again, it's on again, it's off again. Well, apparently it's on again. ABC has reportedly ordered a pilot for this new show, Mockingbird. The series is tentatively called Marvel's Most Wanted, and it will follow Adrienne Palicki's Mockingbird and Nick Blood's Lance Hunter in a dramatic action series. I got to think about this for a second. That does cause me pause. Anyway, according to Variety, ABC does not know when the series would premiere or how Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would set Marvel's Most Wanted for some kind of a launch. What is known, however, is that the S.H.I.E.L.D. producers Jeff Bell and Paul wow, can I not pronounce that name? Zebrzewski. Yeah, forgive me. Zebrzewski. I'm guessing, guys. That's a very weird name. Anyway, they're going to showrun and executive produce the series along with co-writing the pilot. Now, Marvel's head of television, Jeff Loeb, is also going to serve as executive producer. And Variety has claimed that the series will not be a spin-off in the strictest sense, but rather a series that is solely focused on Mockingbird and Lance Hunter's adventures. And rumors rose earlier this year that there was going to be some interest in the spin-off series, as I mentioned before. Is it off again, on again, off again? We don't know. But they were quickly silenced. It does seem that it is back on track, however, with a clear direction in mind. And as far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 goes, that will be premiering in September, on September 29th at 9 p.m. On ABC. Now, what I'm kind of a little perplexed on is how they are classifying this as a drama. Now, we know that the characters of Mockingbird and Lance, they were married. We know that, as characters go, and they went their separate ways. And so the question now becomes, are they still going to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Are they going to go off and do their own thing? Because as we saw towards the end of season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it looked like things hadn't really gone too well. He was caught as part of some sort of a booby trap. Mockingbird, she saved his life at great expense to her well-being, but she survived it. But it was such a traumatic situation that even she was like, I'm done, as her character goes.
Maybe it's a flashback.
And that's what I'm wondering, if maybe this isn't not more than just
historical.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if this isn't another historical kind of show.
That'd be cool.
So in any case, I mean, I kind of would like it for it to be a historical one, because even though it would be asking them to do double duty, I wouldn't necessarily want to see their characters leave Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I think they've got excellent chemistry with the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
So having them do more of a retrospective, I think would be a great idea.
Be interesting.
It would be.
Yeah, however, our friend Crazy Joe doesn't think that's
Joe,
idea,
we posted this story on Facebook, and Joe immediately had some things to say about it. Basically, yeah, Joe, I understand why you weren't too keen on it. I get it. They really do have a great chemistry, as you pointed out, on the show. And I think Mockingbird and Agent May are fantastic. It's really nice to have two strong female characters who don't have any kind of powers except their own well-developed skills working together. It makes for a very exciting show. So, yeah, I get that. But I don't know. Maybe I think the idea of a retrospective might be good.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. I would say that I do trust the showrunners enormously because they have not let us down yet.
Yep.
So I'm putting my faith in them. Now, moving to a little thing that happens sort of behind the scenes, and this all really kind of blew up at San Diego Comic-Con. There was a funny little civil war that happened with some of our TV Marvel people, and because it was TV, no, I'm not talking about Captain America. There was a dub smash rivalry that I'm sure everybody has heard of by now between the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Agent Carter cast, and it blew up into full-scale World War III. You had Team Coulson and Team Carter, and they were engaging in a 3-round dub smash brawl to the death. They are doing this
to the death.
To the death. Now, for anybody who didn't see this, there is a video. You can see it on our website, tggeeks.com, and it gives a little background. And it just started off as just a little bit of fun between Haley Atwell and James Darcy for Team Carter, and Clark Gregg and Chloe Bennett for Team S.H.I.E.L.D. And I remember watching some of this a little bit, and I just kind of, you see a video, maybe 2 pop up every day. And one of the greatest moments, and they do show it in this video, is a We Are the Champions bit. And I was kind of like on the fence. I'm like, well, they're both doing something really kind of fun here. And it's neat. What's so much fun is to watch these characters, or these actors, I should say, outside of their characters, doing something that's totally out of the norm from what we're used to seeing them do. And it made for very, very fun viewing. And there's for anybody who hasn't seen it, please watch this, because there's a beautiful moment where there's several beautiful moments, but the one that absolutely pulled me over to Team Shield, or Team Coulson, as the article puts it, is the Agents of Shield people got their entire cast and lined them up for a big last chorus run through of "We Are the Champions." And of course, I'm a huge fan of Queen, so you pull that song out, and yeah, you got my attention. But the big final reveal is right on the phrase, "We're the champions of the world." We see Clark Gregg in the most unusual garb. I'm not going to tell you what it is if you haven't seen it. People, please watch this. It's a hoot. I watched it over and over again and could not stop laughing. It was genius. But Team Carter, God bless them, they pulled out a wild card that I'm sorry, I had to switch sides. It was the best little coup they could have possibly pulled, and it involved Chris Evans and my favorite Marvel hero, Captain America. It was genius. So what's happened now is there is a war, and it is for charity. Now, every dollar that voters pledge to the non-profit organization CrowdRise will be one vote to their Dub Smash team of choice. But every dollar is also an entry into one of the Dub Smash Wars sweepstakes. For every dollar viewers donate, they will get one entry into the sweepstakes, so the more donations, the better chances at winning. The grand prize, oh, I so want to win this, will include lunch with Haley Atwell, Clark Gregg, Chloe Bennett, and James Darcy, among other unannounced prizes. You can cast your votes and enter the contest. We have a link on our website. Please, people, check it out. If you want to win this, you want to go to our website, you want to click on that link, and you want to donate, because this is exciting. And to be honest, the causes that they are backing up are very, very solid. So I heartily recommend checking out the article on our website. It is worth it. And at the very least, take a look at the video. It's an absolute hoot.
It's a scream.
Oh, it's genius. I absolutely loved it.
You don't need to hear their identification. They're the Two Gay Geeks. They can go about their business. Move along.
Here are a few selected birthdays for August 24th through August 30th. August 24th, Rupert Grint,
I'm Ron Weasley.
26.
He's 26?
He was like 12 when he started the Harry Potter.
Actually, I think he was younger when he got higher. I think it was like 8.
Anyway, it's like, oh my God, was it really that long ago? I'm getting old.
We all are.
Stephen Fry, 57.
Oh, now speaking of getting old, this next one.
Kenny Baker, 80.
And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, I think he's playing R2 in the upcoming Star Wars movie. God bless him.
And also, Marlee Matlin is 50.
Can we say how much we love her?
We love her.
We love her.
We saw her at Walt Disney World during the Candlelight Procession a number of years ago.
Oh,
it was fabulous.
It was a joy as she narrated the Christmas story, and to see the joy on her face and just the sheer visual poetry of her signing that narration was phenomenal. It was glorious. I absolutely loved it, and I just love her.
Yes, it was wonderful. August 25th, Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
I should have put the Sean Connery bumper in here.
Oh,
shoot. I'll see if I can find that while we're
Post!
doing something else.
Post!
Sean Connery is 84 on August 25th. Tim Burton is 56. And Michael Rennie was born on August 25th, 1909.
Wow. Far out.
And let's see, August 26th, Chris Pine is 34.
The thing is about the age Kirk is supposed to be in the movies anyway.
Yeah.
Far out.
August 27th, Paul Rubens, thank you, is 62. And on August 27th, Confucius, or Kong Fu-Tzu, was born
Very
in
good.
551 BC. August 28th, Billy Boyd is 46. Amanda Tapping is 49. Army Hammer is 28.
Love him.
Jack Kirby would have been 97.
It would have been great if he were still alive, standing
Yeah,
alongside
exactly.
Stan Lee with all these movies, because he was just as much responsible through his artwork for bringing these wonderful Marvel characters to life, both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and outside.
Also on August 28th, Donald O'Connor was born in 1925.
And if you want to see an
Fabulous
amazing
dancer.
if you want to see a really outstanding dancer, watch Singing in the Rain.
Oh my God.
No joke.
Both of them.
Both him and Gene Kelly. Watching
My
them
God.
dance together, it's just magic.
And I think the best dance together that they do together is Moses Supposes.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
It is so much fun to watch. Donald Connor, I could not take my eyes off of his dancing. It was fantastic.
It's great. August 29th, Sir Richard Attenborough would have been 91. And August 30th, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley was born in 1797. Do you know who that is?
The writer of Frankenstein.
You got it.
Please. I'd have to turn in my geek card if I didn't.
Exactly. And that's the birthdays for August 24th through the 30th.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You can find culture at the theater. You can find culture in the bottom of an unwashed coffee mug. Or you can find culture on your iPod. Join Brad, Glenn, and Christina on Pod Culture, Equal Opportunity Geekness. Go to www.podculture.net.
Go give a listen to our friends over at Pod Culture. You won't be sorry. And now, what time is it? Time for listener feedback.
Well, we got some feedback from our friend at BTI, David Wagner. Now, for people who heard part one of our big roundtable discussion with the cast of BTI, David Wagner plays Alexei Popov. And I think Keith and I just kind of waxed on about what an interesting character he really is. I'm talking the man. David Wagner is incredibly soft-spoken and just such a genuinely nice man, and he's such a departure, or at least Alexei Popov is a real departure from him. Anyway, he had the opportunity of listening to part two of our cast interview, and this is, he sent a private feedback to me, and this is what he wrote. It was interesting listening to part two of the BTI cast interview. Even though I'm co-writer on the project, I've spent comparatively little time with the pilots being the new cast in part two, and next to no time at all with some of the new female cast members. So believe it or not, your interview with them was basically an introduction to them for me. Obviously, I trust Jeff Patton. He knows what he wants for his story and his character, so I don't necessarily need to be in the loop on everything. I'm sure in the coming weeks I'll get to know them all quite well. Just wanted to say it was an enjoyable, if somewhat surreal, listening experience for me. That having been said, wait until you see what we have next for the rest of BTI. I can't wait to film this bad boy. Thanks again for the support and for the great podcast. I've been slowly going through your archive, listening to previous episodes.
That's cool.
Well, that's cool, David, but you're listening to our old episodes? Holy God. I mean, you know, we're
35 of them now.
Well, not just that, but hey, well, I guess everybody has to start somewhere. And
Exactly.
And I mean, okay, yeah.
Listen to the first one. It's only 6 minutes.
It's only 6 minutes long. Oh God, I know. I'm almost I'm rather embarrassed by that now.
6 or 12. I can't
It's
remember.
really short. That's all I can say.
What was the trial?
Well, we were growing. I mean, I keep telling myself that. I mean, this thing has been an evolution. It's been a growth.
And we were also used to the format of Slice, where 6 minutes of content, and then you had maybe 12. I mean, content and story wise, and then you had 12 or so in other things, different bits, and then intro and outro and all of that, and gave you 26 minutes.
And we did cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Granted, we were able to say a lot of things in those really, really short 12 minutes, but it was like bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. I mean, like, I like where our show has gone now. I mean, I think it's far more interesting to listen to. So, David, thank you for the support. I mean, I'm
thanks,
honored that you want to listen to our entire archive. The only thing that I can ask is please forgive us for the way we sounded way back then.
Yeah.
And we hope that you and that the rest of you will just continue to stay with us, because we have, as far as I'm concerned, we have no plans on going anywhere.
Yep.
I'm into this for the long run. I know you are too, honey.
Yep.
Now, the next one is from Tiffany Wilhelm, who's been a long-time friend of ours, personally through our affiliations with Disney and Mice Chat. How long have we known Tiffany?
Oh, God.
I don't know. 5 or 6 years now?
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, she's such a sweetheart and just as much of a geek as we are. And sadly, because she lives in Washington, Seattle, and we're down here, and so it's very hard for us to all kind of connect. I know that if the opportunity ever arose where we could all actually get together, that we would just have the biggest geek out session. It would be really far out. Anyway, she left a message regarding our Facebook post that we made on the previously talked about Dub Smash War. And she wrote, "Random of randomness? I was looking at something about Haley Atwell wanting to be the Doctor," which is true. She has kind of admitted that. And ended up reliving the awesomeness that is the Dub Smash War. Then I saw the video with Clark Gregg as Peggy crying. Now, that's in the video. You have to see, people. And ran to tell Kate we missed an entry in the war. So imagine my delight in this post from you guys. Love it. Okay, well, I'm thrilled that we were able to actually provide something that she had not seen yet, because, yes, there is a really very funny scene with Clark Gregg dressed up in Peggy Carter garb, crying and just commiserating over an ice cream bar.
Yeah.
It has to be seen to be believed. And Chloe Bennett, ouch. Man, what you're doing, girl, that left a mark. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Okay, that's our listener feedback for this week. And just a reminder that the Facebook profile for TG Geeks is our account to host our TG Geeks webcast page. So you can like it or you can request a friendship, but it's not either one of us. It is actually the profile
page
that hosts the TG Geeks webcast page. If you like our show or even dislike it or like something about it or dislike portions of it, let us know. We want to know.
We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. You can comment on our Facebook page, our YouTube episodes, or at tggeeks.com, and you can receive a shout-out on a future episode.
Just like Tiffany did.
Absolutely.
And David Wagner. God bless you both.
And Crazy Joe.
And Crazy Joe. You know what? I love all three of you. I seriously do. You're awesome people.
Yep. Or you can call our listener feedback line, and we'll play your comment on air. That's 469-TG-GEEKS. 469-844-3357.
This is Mark Biaggi, and you're listening to TG Geeks Webcast. Get your geek on.
Now, we've got one huge, enormous coincidence, and that was the fact that as far as the birthdays go, you made mention of Mary Shelley.
Oh, yeah.
Now, who knew that there was... I mean,
I didn't realize you had this article in here.
Who knew that there was going to be another Frankenstein movie?
Exactly.
Now, maybe this is planned. I don't know. I mean, it's very possible that maybe showrunners are or movie producers were actually looking to do this in honor of her birthday. I don't know. I find this
You never know.
well, no, because the movie's going to be released November 25th. But it's very weird that this news item should drop just before the announcement of Mary Shelley's birthday. The trailer for the movie Victor Frankenstein has dropped, courtesy of 20th Century Fox, and it is going to star James McAvoy, who people might know as the young Charles Xavier from the later X-Men movies, and Daniel Radcliffe, who he was in something called Harry Pooter or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like Harry Potter. That's it. Yeah, I'm sure no one has heard of that young man.
Not at all.
Anyway, the trailer did drop. We've got it on our website. Check it out, tggeeks.com. I'm going to run that into your brain so that you will be hearing it in your sleep.
Yep.
Anyway, the showrunners decided to take a rather interesting twist on what I'm sure by now is a very, very old tale.
Well, yeah,
and,
I was considering it was written in the early 1800s.
Exactly. And how many iterations have we seen of Frankenstein already? And
Oh, my
here
Lord.
is yet another one.
Have you read that book? My God.
Holy,
it's a tome.
It is a tome, and I read it such a long time ago. I need to take another look at it. I mean, it's been way too long. But yes, I did read the actual Mary Shelley book. And it's, I don't think that I don't think it's really filmable in its pure form, which is why a lot of people like to take different liberties and different interpretations of it.
Exactly.
Because I think as itself, I mean, it's such, the narrative and the setting, it's so rich and so detailed that to film it, it would have to be like a Lord of the Rings in of itself, just on that one book.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much to it. Anyway, for this movie, Victor Frankenstein, they're taking a twist on it. And what we've got is you have McAvoy and Radcliffe. They're going to be starring as Victor Frankenstein and Igor Straussman, respectively. And, or that'd be Igor. I'm not sure.
Yes.
And the desire they have to aid humanity by doing research into immortality. Huh. However, as with all mad scientist schemes, the experiment goes awry with terrifying results and consequences, and it is up to Igor to save Frankenstein from his own creation, as well as saving Victor from himself. It's going to be directed by Paul McGuigan, who did the Lucky Number 11, and adapted by Max Landis, who did Chronicle. Victor Frankenstein is going to co-star Jessica Brown Findlay, Andrew Scott, Mark Gatiss, interesting, and Freddie Fox. Holy God, I didn't think that he was going to be in this. But it will not be released until November 25th. The movie is produced by John Davis, and as I said, the trailer is available. And what's interesting also, I mean, I've made jokes, the whole Igor thing. He has no hump. Daniel Radcliffe has no hump.
No hump.
No.
What hump?
Yeah, what hump? Well, exactly. There is no hump. So check out that trailer. It is interesting, and I dare say we will probably want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
And again, you can see it on our website, tggeeks.com. Now, as we all know, a little thing is coming out towards the end of the year. It is now a Disney property.
You missed one.
I missed one?
Yep.
Did I miss one?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did miss one. Yeah. Okay. Hold on a minute.
There you go.
Now, recently at D23, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made an appearance. Now, he's doing a voice for an animated film called Moana. I'm hoping I pronounced that right, so if I didn't, please forgive me.
Probably Moana.
Moana? Oh, I think you're right. I think that looks better. Yeah, Moana, that sounds better. But one of the things that The Rock has said at D23, one of his career goals was to work in Disney movies. Well, he's getting his wish. Well, he's been doing it for a little while. I mean, he was in the remake of Escape to Witch Mountain, and I think that was his first foray into family-friendly movies, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was.
I mean, he had done The Mummy. He was in the Mummy franchise, or one of the later Mummy movies. He was in Scorpion King.
Are you my mummy?
You need to say that with a mask on.
Are you my mummy?
And you're a little too old. Oh, you my mommy. No. Okay, let's run that meme into the ground. In any case, his desire to stay in Disney movies is coming quite true because, oh boy, he's going to star in the latest ride-to-movie project, Jungle Cruise. I had to think about this one because most people kind of know that the Jungle Cruise is actually inspired largely by the African Queen, the Humphrey Bogart film. So now they're going to kind of go back again and make another movie out of a ride. Well, anyway, let me tell you what we've got reported here. The film is based on a ride that was in place when Disneyland first opened its doors in 1955, and this movie's been in development for years. However, bringing The Rock back on board is sort of indicating that there's some new energy for this old idea. Now, the Hollywood Reporter reports that there has been some changes behind the scenes in the years, and this has been in regular development. Back in 2011, David Hoberman and Todd Lieberman, who produced The Fighter, were the producers, and Roger S.H. Schulman had been doing the writing. And at the time, the stars were going to be Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Interesting. Now the producers are John Davis and John Fox of Davis Entertainment, and they're the ones who just did The Man from U.N.C.L.E., that wonderful reboot that you and I just love so much. And John Requa and Glenn Ficarra, who did Focus and Crazy Stupid Love, are scripting the movie. Now, while the old incarnation of the movie was to be set in the modern day, this version is set to be a period piece. No director is on board right now, but here's a description of the long-running ride, which even employed John Lasseter. That was one of his earlier jobs.
Yes. And Steve
Martin.
Steve Martin. Yep.
They both took turns.
There was somebody else.
If there was somebody else, it's right now slipping my mind. But those are the two big people who got a crack at being the skippers on the African Queen. Now, the description is, set sail on a 1930s tramp steamer tour in the untamed waters of the Mekong, the Amazon, and the rivers of Africa. Will your vessel be San Crusade or Senegal Sal? And will she survive the 9-minute jungle cruise intact? Mother Nature is set at her wildest as you pass audio animatronic animals, including the Bengal tiger, king cobras, elephants, lions, and bears. I'm sorry, wrong ride. And hyenas in their native habitats.
Yes.
Whether they're feasting on their prey, yum yum, scaring, trespassing humans, or splashing water, the animals will keep you on your toes, or at least have you laughing the entire time you're watching it. As your skipper leads you ever deeper into the jungles, past harebrained explorers and ancient ruins, be prepared for some surprises along the way.
The backside of water.
Are there really hippopotamus? There's a
Hippopotami.
Hippopotami and headhunters lying in wait? Your skipper's sure to regale you with humorous tales of danger. That's the ride.
Interesting little bit of trivia. Another little shout out to Tiffany. That's her favorite ride.
Is it?
As well as, actually, I think it's Sawyer's favorite ride. But I think Tiffany really likes
it's a fun ride to get on
a lot of fun.
to. I know that when Disney was visiting their 50th 10 years ago, that they decided to kind of go back to the original script. Which, when we started getting into present day, when I mean present day, I'm talking like 1970s, 1980s, it was becoming a bit stale. So a lot of the skippers were allowed to improvise, which for anybody who is a Disney theme park aficionado, you'd know that improvising is largely frowned upon. They don't like that.
For the most part.
For the most part. You're given a script that has been worked on and just honed by a committee, I'm sure.
There's a few that have some liberties.
There are a few people that have liberties if they've got the chops for it. But in most cases, they really don't like all those improvisations that they become rather famous for. And you and I, the earlier days, before Disney's 50th, I mean, we saw some pretty outlandish skippers that were on there. And I think that's probably why, especially Steve Martin, who everybody knows is an utter loon, was really able to shine. The story has it that somebody saw him doing the skipper bit on one of the rides, and it kind of jump started his career in comedy.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see what they're going to do with this movie. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I don't know how I feel about the whole ride to movie thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the first Parts of the Caribbean movie was good. They did a Haunted Mansion, which, I mean, I suppose I sort of like it. But it's, you know, and then Tomorrowland, well, yeah, well, you know how what our thoughts on that are. Anyway, moving on to other Disney property. Now, after Disney purchased Lucasfilm, it was announced that the Star Wars expanded universe was no longer going to be considered canon. I remember we talked about that in Slice, and it sort of makes sense because now they're going to be literally re-engineering the entire canon post Return of the Jedi. This entire expanded universe of comic books and novels, where they had this entire expanded universe already figured out, and it's based on the idea that the Empire has fallen, except for maybe a few Imperial elements that are still floating out there. You know, the remnants of the Empire, they're now the rebels, and the Rebel Alliance has now become the New Republic. Well, that's all thrown out the window, obviously, if Episode 7 is going to start to tell a new story. So anyway, that old canon of the expanded universe, and it had been sort of canon, is now gone. Going forward, it's
Universe 571 or something.
Something along those lines, if you want to take the Marvel point of view. Instead, that old canon is going to be now branded with the quote-unquote Legends titling. It angered a lot of Star Wars fans, you know, and I sort of understand it. They fell in love with the books, but hey, you can't pigeonhole those books into this new movie canon that they're
more
building.
Like shoehorning.
Well, yeah, well, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
Pigeonholing.
You know, shoehorning is more like, you can't do that. It did anger a lot of Star Wars fans, but the announcement has also brought something rather cool to the table. All the Star Wars stories in the future would be developed under the guidance of the Star Wars Story Group, and those will be considered canon. That means that everything from comic book to novels, animated television shows to video games, everything from here on in would be considered a real part of this new Star Wars history. Now, over the last year, a lot of new Star Wars stories have been released. So what does the current Star Wars canon timeline look at this point? What is the order in which these stories take place? Well, we've got a nice little poster on our website. It's an infographic. I highly recommend taking a look at it because it covers a lot of things that show what the canon looked like, or the timeline looked like before Disney took over and after Disney took over. It is worth taking a look at if you kind of want to get your head wrapped around what this new Star Wars universe is going to look like before we jump into Episode 7. The graphic is courtesy of Outer Places, and while the Star Wars canon timeline presents the stories in chronological order, that might not be the order that you should experience the story. For example, with the live-action feature films, a lot of people feel like that maybe you should not be watching them episodes 1 through 6, and I take that with that same kind of idea. Personally, I like to watch them episodes 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. That's just me. I think it makes for a better narrative. Anyway, the timeline kind of goes into more detail about that. The prequels obviously explain too much and ruin any surprises in episodes 4, 5, and 6, and as well as the reveals of the original trilogy. But you do get a good cohesive story when you look through this timeline graphic. So while the following Star Wars canon timeline is presented chronologically, that might not be the best way to experience it. I mean, it's really a personal thing. But this graphic is still very interesting to take a look at and to see everything that is there and get a sense of what is real, what isn't real. And for those people that do kind of want to watch it in a chronological fashion, because some people do, that'll give you the means to do so.
I kind of like to watch them 4 and maybe 5 and possibly 6.
In other words, no 1 through 3, huh?
What?
No episodes 1 through... What episodes 1 through 3?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
No, they were okay.
I liked them. You know,
Yeah,
there was
they're okay.
there was a very interesting Facebook discussion about that. Someone had posted the question of why people really have a lot of hate for episodes 1 through 3. And you remember when episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out? Oh my word! I mean, it was it was like the
huge.
crown jewel of pop culture.
Yeah.
I mean, it really redefined pop culture. Quite literally, when you started seeing all this plethora of movies, bad science fiction movies just coming out by the score because of Star Wars.
And you've seen every one of them.
Well, I don't know if I've seen. I hate to admit, I think I have, because there really wasn't much else to watch, and there wasn't a whole heck of a lot of home video. I mean, you had things like Showtime and HBO. So if science fiction popped up there, hey, I hate to say it, but I watched it because I needed to see something. So I understand why people have such love for episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then episodes 1 through 3 came out. It was a different landscape as far as movies go, and a lot of people really started bagging on it. And so I can understand why there were elements there that I didn't think were all that great.
Yeah, but they were reasonable films.
They're
I mean,
not
there was
horrible.
No, I liked the backstory of the Emperor. And,
Yeah, I mean, there's
those
some very
things.
good elements there.
Yeah.
There's something very interesting to see how Darth Sidious, who we know as always as the Emperor, how he comes into power, what kind of machinations is he involved in. And in fact, I've watched episodes 1 through 3 a number of times just to kind of wrap my head around to see how he's kind of playing both sides against the middle.
Right.
Because I think there's some very interesting strategy there on his part, all in an attempt to become emperor. So there's some very good elements there. I mean, I wouldn't just throw episodes 1 through 3 just out like that. I think
You
there's
wouldn't
some
throw the Emperor's New Groove out there like that? Oh.
No, I wouldn't throw the Emperor's New Groove out there. No, I would not ruin his groove.
Beware
I would
the
not.
groove.
I will not throw off the groove. Anyway, moving on to another piece of space opera, Guardians of the Galaxy. They have contracted their composer Tyler Bates from the first film to come back and do the second one. Now, everybody, when you think music and you think Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously we're going to be thinking of those really awesome songs that James Gunn pulled in, which I think in many ways was the greatest selling point to the marketing of this movie. I mean, I remember when we saw the trailer.
Absolutely.
And we heard Oh, What a Feeling, and it's part of the trailer, and we're like, wow.
Hooked on a Feeling.
Hooked on a Feeling. And we're like, what the heck are we watching here?
Ooh, gotcha.
Exactly. I mean, there was just something just really weird about that. So, yeah, I can understand why a lot of people are going to want to just, like, they're really into what the new songs are. And my understanding is James Gunn does have more material, but don't ignore the actual movie score. There is some really great stuff there. We just saw Guardians of the Galaxy again Friday night. I think it was Friday night. It was Thursday night. We just watched it again, and there is some beautiful music that is being played there that is at times, I would say, almost heartbreaking. Beautiful moments, and that's all because of composer Tyler Bates. And the way the story reads, he was confirmed to do the score for the next movie, this is the official title, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And writer-director James Gunn has already completed the work on the screenplay for the sequel. The story is said to be more emotional than the first film, and the reports are that Chris Pratt actually cried when he read the script. And what we know is that the sequel will explore the Star-Lord's long-lost father, who was teased but not revealed in the first film. And James Gunn has previously stated that Yondu, Star-Lord's father figure, will feature more prominently in the sequel, as would Gamora and Nebula. And, of course, they have their own adopted daddy, Thanos, who's right now making a huge tear through the MCU, looking for little things called Infinity Gems. Anyway, one of the things that everyone seems to be talking about, seeing Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, is the movie score. And while so much attention is thrown to the soundtrack, as we said earlier, Tyler Bates, he's not getting the acclaim that he should. And I totally agree. Many of the Marvel films, they sort of lack a really good, awesome, epic space opera or thriller type theme. But seriously, listen to the actual theme in Guardians of the Galaxy that Tyler Bates wrote. He nailed it. And one of the most beautiful scenes, music-wise, is when Groot has created this shield to protect everybody in the team as Ronan's ship is about to crash. And yes, you've got the beautiful dialogue of Groot saying, "We are Groot," but listen to the music. It will tear you up. It is
great.
Beautiful music.
It captures the moment.
It really does. It's gorgeous. So I would say, hey, Tyler Bates, I'm so happy you're coming back. And to any of you out there who haven't given his music a chance, do so. You won't regret it. Now, I got to talk about this. This story actually broke in the midst of us doing our San Diego coverage of the BTI Kickstarter, so we couldn't give it the discussion that it needed. But one of the big things that was revealed at D23 is this enormous, and I'm talking, this is big, huge expansion for Disneyland in Anaheim and Disney World in Orlando. Now, what would be a trip to D23, the big Disney Expo, without any discussion regarding the nature of Disney's biggest properties, and that really is the theme parks. With the upcoming Star Wars properties, they thought, they've been talking a lot about wanting to expand a little bit in sort of the Star Wars scope. I mean, obviously we've got Star Tours in Anaheim, and if you go to Disney Studios in Orlando, they do have a little area. It's like a corner of Disney Studios where they have, I'd say it's more like a 3/4 scale of an Imperial Walker, and what looks like the actual bunker on the moon of Endor that we see in Return of the Jedi. And through there, you kind of work your way into what is supposed to be the Star Tours that's over there. And everybody's been kind of like, are you going to expand on that? Are you going to expand on that? Well, with Disney now owning Lucasfilm, now they can do it. And the only the only money they have to pay is just their own people to build it. They've got some phenomenal concept artwork. You can see this on our website, tggeeks.com. But this is supposed to be totally immersive. You're not going to have cast members dressed in regular Disney garb who will be out and about. Everybody who works for the Disney company is going to be dressed as a character, and they're going to be in character. Yay. This is a fully 100% immersive experience. Now, like I said, we've got the artwork on our website. And but Keith, I know you're looking at some of this artwork now.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this, as we know, this is all conceptual stuff. And
I want to fly around in that Millennium Falcon and
there is supposed to be a Millennium Falcon
and the TIE fighters there.
There is supposed to be some sort of an actual ride. Now, there's going to be two major attractions. Let's see, two signature attractions, including one that puts fans inside the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. I'm going to say that's going to be another Star Tours type ride.
Star Tours or maybe Mission Space type?
Something, maybe, okay, that's not a bad idea. Maybe go with the Mission Space. And anybody doesn't know, Mission Space in Epcot, I mean, they've actually got, they put people in some sort of a centrifugal cylinder that spins, and it can help simulate G-forces as well. So, yeah, maybe making it a lot more along the lines of Mission Space might be the idea.
Yeah.
They're supposed. I'm not entirely sure what the second signature ride is supposed to be. The article really doesn't kind of go into a lot of detail about that, but it's supposed to be another one of these immersive type things. And from what little I've read, it's supposed to be, I think, for anybody who remembers.
I know it's a shootout with Greedo.
Actually, yeah, as long
in
as
the cantina.
as long as I get to shoot first. Actually, I've heard some little scuttlebutt that it's going to be, you're going to be involved in an actual chase. And I'm wondering if it's not going to be something along the lines of what Star Trek The Experience used to have.
Oh, yeah.
Where they had a Borg experience where you could either, you would walk through a Borg cube of sorts, and depending on what kind of experience you bargain for, they would either just ignore you or they would chase you.
It was kind of cool.
It was kind of far out, so I'm kind of wondering if that isn't the case here. So anyway, we've got all this concept artwork, and it came from a Star Wars feed, and was presented at D23. What do you think they could pull this off?
Yeah,
Looking at it,
I think so.
now they're going to be building it in the area where Big Thunder Ranch is, because that's slated to close very soon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm reading a little bit about the first signature ride. On a customized secret mission is one of those signature rides. A customized secret mission. Interesting. So if you want to check out the article, go to, again, tggeeks.com. We have all of the conceptual artwork that was shown at D23. I'm kind of intrigued by it. I mean, can you imagine how cool it would be to go inside their version of a cantina?
Yeah.
I want to drink blue milk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have got to drink me some blue milk. I got to really know what that's all about. And I'm really intrigued by the cantina. I mean, audio animatronics, or are they going to get like Cy Snoodles and her band?
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like we saw in Jabba the Hutt's little fortress. I mean, who knows? It looks like it's not set on... it does not look like it's actually set on Tatooine. It looks like it's set on Naboo, of all places.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah.
I'm excited by it. I mean, I know that we'll be there. And again, they're only doing this in the American parks. This might be a test program. I mean, if this really succeeds, and let's be honest, unless they really blow it, I don't see how it could, how it could fail. I mean, I could see this, eventually ending up in the other theme parks. I mean, I could really see this. This would be a really good thing to add over to like a Disney Sea in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I can see this being really huge there. So anyway, tggeeks.com. Check out this article. It's really excited. I mean, it was posted on August 16th on our website, so look for that. I think this is really, really exciting, given that if anybody who knows the two of us, we're huge Disney fans. So check that out. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
And here's the I found one of Mark's bumpers for Sean Connery.
Two Gay Geeks Webcast.
So it was
cool.
That was the Sean Connery.
That was Sean Connery.
And we had a couple of interesting things. It's amazing. Twitter is, to me, it's a little overwhelming, especially when you get a bunch of following people, and you're a bunch of people you're following, and people are following you, and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, oh my gosh, I got to scroll down through, in an hour, there's 500 articles or 500 tweets that you have to scroll through. Anyway, through that whole process, through Twitter and whatnot, we've run across a couple of new film projects. One actually has a Doctor Who tie-in. We've got an article on the website. It's called Neighbors from Hell, and it is by James Eves. He's done some unusual things. Nazi, what was it?
Nazis in the Moon. Or
not that. Nazi. Anyway,
it's not Iron Sky. No,
he bills himself, his production company, as a low budget film company.
It's
a kind of a part time thing for him. So.
What little I saw, especially that Nazi thing. I mean, I'm going to throw the word out. It screams of schlock.
Yeah, actually. Check out the article that we wrote about that, because I pulled in a few different pieces. They've got his production company, Amber Pictures. You can check them out on Facebook, Amber Pictures, and be sure that you find Amber Pictures, the appropriate one, because there's several Amber Pictures. You can also link to their website from the Facebook page. Also, Twitter handle is at @NFHell_movie and @James_Eves. And two people that are starring in this are Suzanne Shaw, and it's @Suzanne with two N's and an E, Shaw. And
is this the Doctor Who connection?
@Sawbones Hex.
Oh, Sawbones Hex. I know who that is. Sawbones Hex is Colin Baker.
You got it. I'm really excited. I've been in contact with James. He's supposed to get me some press package and some other things. I'm excited to see about it. The makeup that they did for the
yes, there's
looks really great.
there's a really good photo.
Yeah,
of,
two photos. Yeah.
But I saw one of Colin in his rather demonic makeup, and I gotta admit that looked pretty doggone good.
Yeah. So check them out. Do the at NFL_movie on Twitter and follow them, and they'll have more information. And as soon as we get more information, we'll publish it on the website, and that'll be on Twitter and Facebook, etc. The other one that we just found out about,
and we mean just.
I mean just. And in fact, yesterday, which we're recording this on Saturday, we release on Monday, but on Friday night, I got a tweet said somebody was following us, and I followed them back, and they said thanks for the follow, and we were like the 5th follower of this.
Yeah, they're really new.
Brand new. It's at Conditioning UK, and it's a new film. We have an article that we released today, Saturday, and on our website tid-bits about conditioning, and it's a horror short. And what's unique about it, it has an LGBT theme, and I'm really excited about it. There was a lot of information that they provided to us, and they're actually in the pre-production phase and scouting for places to shoot, etc. And check it out. And if you want to know more about that, it's at Conditioning UK, and Joe Capella is at World of Capella, that's 2 L's, and Philip Pugh is also part of this, and his Twitter handle is at film_maker, and that's film PHILM_maker.
Now, I would point out that the article for this this movie, Conditioning, that's on our website, the links to their Twitter accounts are there. So if you just go to tggeeks.com and find that article on conditioning, you can find their links there as well.
And pretty much most of the article is about the information that they sent us, their synopsis and
the background
and the subtext of the story and why they're doing this. It's really fascinating.
I'm really intrigued with it.
I'm excited.
One of the things that really kind of excites me about this is that they're taking a real life situation and not a good one. Hate. It's a very real thing that's out in the world today. I mean, we see it in the media. I think that we've been lucky enough that we've not been the recipients of too much direct hate, more indirect. But there are a lot of people that have been victims of a lot of hate because of simply who they are. And I'm not just simply talking about being LGBT. It could be race, it could be religion, it could be anything. Just because they're different from somebody else's perception of what should be normal, they then become the target of that person's hatred. And that's never a good thing. So the idea that they want to take this item out of the headlines and create a horror film
with a moral or a message.
Yeah, it's a horror movie with a message. I gotta admit, I'm very intrigued by it. And they've already said that they're going to be very uncompromising in the fact that with a lot of modern horror films, they can be pretty bloody and very gory, and they're not going to shy away from that. They're going to try and stick to that modern horror film aesthetic. But nonetheless, to try to put in some kind of a moral in there, I find very interesting. So yeah, I definitely want to follow this, and I would recommend that everybody who has any kind of a passing interest in horror movie to do so.
And by the way, these are both independent films.
Yeah,
Neighbors from Hell and Conditioning, and it seems that we've become the promoters of independent films.
Which I don't have a problem with that.
That's pretty cool. I think. I mean, anything we can do to help anybody.
I mean, we've done that with BTI already.
And Matt with Focus.
With Focus, I mean,
absolutely.
I've said that as long as these independent filmmakers and projects, I mean, if there's anybody out there who knows of some kind of an independent artist who is doing something that falls within our wheelhouse of interest, shall we say, let us know.
Absolutely.
Because we would love to talk about them and possibly even talk to them, as we did with BTI, and hopefully as we get to do with with Matt and Focus, and hopefully down the road with Joe Capella and Phil Pugh and the people from Neighbors from Hell. I mean, it's nice to be able to give these people a push, just as we've gotten a bit of a push from people like Neil Halford,
Yep.
and Larry Nemechek. It's nice to be able to give back. So yes, we want to be able to support these people. If they're doing something that is of interest to us, then we're interested in it. Duh.
Absolutely. Up next time, discussing Doctor Who.
Since that is going to be coming right around the corner.
Yeah, and
Season
other stuff.
9.
And this will be the episode. We're going to go ahead and record that here shortly. That will be released while we are on vacation. We didn't want to go a week without releasing something. So
Yes, because we couldn't stand the idea of our dear listeners missing our voices.
absolutely. And we will be posting things on the website daily so that keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.